Hello everyone, my name is Mariam Mokhtar. In Malaysia, as in many other Islamic countries, the death of a Muslim can be turned into a political and religious football, and it can also result in a witch hunt. They say that dead men tell no tales, but a competent forensic pathologist can tell us how a man died, the cause of his death, both the good and bad effects of the treatment he received, the reasons behind the symptoms shown near the end of his life, and any discrepancies between the pre-mortem and post-mortem results. Facts do not lie. The operative word here is competent. Sometimes it is not just the haze from forest fires that clouds our vision and chokes us. Our politics and policies with racial and religious undertones also damage our health and emotional well-being. We lose our ability to reason. We become emotionally intemperate. While we have the utmost respect for the judiciary and the coroner's court, some of us strongly disagree with the coroner's verdict that states, in this case, firefighter Muhammad Adib Muhammad Qasim's death, which it was said was the result of a criminal act by 2 or 3 unidentified assailants. Seafield was teeming with rioters on the night Adib was injured. How was the magic number of 2 or 3 assailants reached? 2 or 3? Why not 4 or 5? Or 7 or 8? Victims of assault are normally cut, bruised and swollen. But Adib's face, his arms and his torso were relatively blemish-free. You will recall photos of him in hospital during visits by royalty and by the then Prime Minister, the convicted felon Najib Abdul Razak, and his wife, the former First Lady of Malaysia, when they visited him in hospital. In Malaysia, a post-mortem can sometimes be a waste of time, especially when it can be turned into a political advantage. And that is how stupid a nation we have become. A post-mortem did not help Adib. The pathologist's findings were rejected. But the testimony of a physics lecturer who had not even examined Adib's internal organs was believed. Yep. Was this the first time that a government coroner had rejected the findings of a pathologist? Compare Adib's case with previous instances in which the pathologist's report was central to the final outcome. In the first case, I give you, first example, in August 1998, in Kelantan, I think, Tualang Puteh, a 40-year-old Jahai orang asli, was attacked by a tiger whilst collecting petai in the jungles near Jeli. This is in Kelantan. A search party found Tualang's mutilated body a week later. There were bite marks. His severed head and a limb were missing. Scratches on a tree trunk and the pug marks of a tiger were found nearby. Tiger sightings had been reported in the area. And despite the physical evidence and eyewitness reports, the pathologist suspected foul play and criminal intent. He ruled that Tualang had not been killed by a tiger. Reclassifying Tualang's death meant that his widow and children were not eligible for welfare aid. In the second example, 11 years later, a Coogan died in police custody. The post-mortem report classified his death as sudden death from water in his lungs. His family broke into the morgue to seize his body, and his wounds confirmed that there were there's suspicions of torture. An independent second autopsy reclassified Coogan's death as murder. In the third example I give you, in Teo Beng Hok's death, a Royal Commission of Inquiry found that Teo had committed suicide. Rejecting this verdict, Teo's family demanded a second autopsy, and the Thai pathologist Dr. Pontip ruled out suicide and said that Teo's death was homicide. Till today, no one has been found guilty despite many changes of government. In my fourth example, in 2017, 78-year-old Hendrik Smith was told that his granddaughter, 18-year-old model Ivana, had been found dead at the foot of a 20-story apartment block in Kuala Lumpur. Displeased with the initial post-mortem results, Smith's family arranged for a second autopsy conducted by Dutch pathologist Frank de Gucht. His findings vastly differed from the first post-mortem findings, which failed to detect drugs or injuries sustained prior to the fall. The failure of our authorities to act professionally and with speed has allowed the main suspects and also Ivana's killers to escape punishment. In my fifth example, who can forget 11-year-old Muhammad Thaqif Amin Muhammad Gaddafi, who died in 2017. He had been beaten so severely that he had to be hospitalized and his legs amputated. He subsequently died. Thaqif's diary listed the beatings he received from the Tahfiz School's assistant warden. 3 weeks after his burial, his body was exhumed for a second autopsy to find the cause of death. His parents had an agonizingly long wait for the results. The authorities looked for a scapegoat and they found one. A rat, a tikus. The authorities claimed that Thaqif had died from leptospirosis, a disease from rat urine, but they failed to explain how Thaqif had contracted this disease, whether from the hospital, his school, or his home. There were no reports of a clean-up operation for rat infestation at the hospital, school, or his home. So, are Malaysians afraid of facing up to the truth, and any scapegoat, including rodents, will do? In Malaysia, like I said, as in many other Islamic countries, the death of a Muslim can be turned into a political and religious football and can result in a witch hunt. Meanwhile, the authorities hope that the death of a non-Muslim will be ignored. We gain nothing, the whole nation gains nothing, but there will be a lot of ill will, mistrust, and antagonism. Civil servants and professionals who lack integrity erode our confidence in public institutions. Malaysians must stop living in denial. We must demand that our civil servants act with integrity and accountability. We need people with courage who will lead by example, to be just, transparent, and fair. Did the families of Fireman Adib, Thaqif, Tualang, Coogan, and Smith receive justice? No, they didn't. Thank you for listening. Speak to you soon. If you like my videos, please press like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also visit my Patreon channel if you wish to sponsor me. Thank you.